This is for you, Kings fans, wherever you may be. All the frustration and disappointment of the past is gone. The 45-year drought is over. The Los Angeles Kings are indeed the kings of the National Hockey League. They are the 2012 Stanley Cup champions.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to an impromptu emergency live that I wish I were not doing today. It just feels as though this kind of thing has been happening so much over the last couple of months. To be honest, the last couple of years, where I wake up and the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning is a new basketball legend has left this world. And I thought Bill Russell, well, obviously there's nothing that will ever top Kobe Bryant and that tragedy, but Bill Russell was very hard. I remember I made a video when Bill Russell died, just thinking like, man, like that's such a big figure in the basketball world. It's just the world of basketball is never going to be the same. I had studied his career so much because everybody knows, for everyone that's wondering, Dime, how did you get so into this old school stuff? Like, what made you go so hardcore into the old school? I'll give my story real quick. Basically, I always had an interest in the history of the game as a kid because I was always curious about what came before me. But during The Last Dance, I saw so many debates about the GOATs and LeBron and Michael Jordan. And I was just kind of like, I'm speaking about these debates and I haven't actually seen Michael Jordan play full series. Like, whereas with LeBron, I've been there since that first triple-double game one against the Wizards on a Saturday on ESPN in 2006. I remember it like it was yesterday as a 7-year-old kid getting into basketball and having been into basketball for a couple months. I never saw Jordan play. So I said, you know what? If I'm really going to compare GOATs, I'm starting my own basketball platform. Let me watch all the GOATs. Let me see all the content I can get on them. But I wanted to start at Magic and Bird because that's kind of like where the NBA tells where their story began. They're like, hey, the NBA started with Magic and Bird. They are the ones that changed everything, anything pre-merger, all those pre-merger stats. They want to try to erase everything, it seems, before 1976. Now, I realized that if I started my process on Larry and Magic, then I would be neglecting being a true basketball historian, which is the 60s and the 70s matter. The 60s and the 70s matter. And so then I said, you know what? Who's the first person that they talk about in the GOAT debate? And I say the real first person they talk about is Bill Russell. So I said, I'm going to start with Bill Russell. And so I started with this 1956-57 season and made my way. As everybody knows, my process during the regular season gets stagnated so much. So I'm still currently in the middle of the 1972 season, which for all that don't know, is the Los Angeles Lakers' first ring in Los Angeles, won by Jerry West. I don't really know what to think about this today. I've studied 15 years of Jerry West's career, but I'm sorry, am I doing my math right? No, he drafted in 1960, so 11 and a half years of Jerry West's career, but it's not about, that. Jerry West passed away this morning, age 86, they said. Let me just double check that. 86 or 87? 86. He would have been 87. Oh, no, he just turned 86 a couple of weeks ago. I made a tweet last year that Jerry West looked like he'd aged 5 years in a couple of months. And when I saw that, I knew something had to have been up, and I tweeted about it. And I kept seeing him, and it was okay, but I started seeing him a little bit less towards the end of this season. And in typical Jerry West fashion, he didn't tell anybody. And, or at least didn't tell anybody that we knew, didn't tell the media, of course, didn't tell the public. And I always knew that Jerry West would probably die still working in the game. I mean, when we talk about people that bled this sport of basketball, a player that played through so many injuries, gave everything to win and the disgraceful way that they treated him on the way out. And all the fans, some of the fans on Twitter. I remember, the amount of time that I'm going to post this live on Twitter because we need more people in here than just 21 people. The amount of people within the last couple of years, Laker fans that have just kind of tried to erase what Jerry West did for the organization. That's why you really got to remember Twitter's not a real place. Like, Twitter's not a real place. These people don't love the game. These people don't study the history of the sport. Like, no matter what the beef was with West and the Buss family, if you're a Laker fan that's saying one negative word about Jerry West, because he worked for the Clippers. I mean, look, what have the Clippers ever done to the Lakers except cover some banners? Like, it's nothing that serious has ever happened between the two teams. You think Jerry West would work for the Celtics? He would have rather, I can't believe I was about to say what I was about to say, but it doesn't make sense now. But he would have rather, I mean, what's worse than passing away? I don't know. Anything worse than he would have done the most brutal things before working for the Celtics. Let me just put it that way. The Clippers, the Warriors, the Grizzlies, like, these teams aren't really like, there's no historic rivalry with the Lakers. So some of that stuff was just insane. Jerry West, man, for somebody like me, he was always around. He was always around in the city. I mean, he was working for some other teams, but he was always around the game of basketball. Always around the game of basketball, always around discussions in LA, Obviously, to people in my generation, he's the guy that recruited Shaq. He's the one that saw Kobe in that workout with Michael Cooper and discovered one of the greatest talents to ever play the game. And that's what he gets the most credit for these days, is his work as an exec, helping build those Warriors teams, helping get the Memphis Grizzlies to the playoffs and build some great teams over there. He's just he's got one of the great eyes for talent of all time. Now, of course, he had some misses, but so does everyone. He found so many greats, and none bigger than Kobe Bryant himself. And I think what hurt me the most about this news is I always wanted to meet Jerry West. Like, I had five players. I have to say had now, which is devastating, but I have 5 players on my bucket list of basketball to meet: Magic Johnson, Jerry West, Dr. J, Clyde Frazier, and who's the 5th? And CP3. Those are the 5 guys I got to meet. And it's just, I was starting to think the last couple of years, I heard so many people say, like, Jerry West is the nicest guy ever. Like, he's always willing to talk to people. And I just started to think, like, man, what questions am I going to ask him when I meet him? What am I going to say about his career? Because that's what I wanted before I start adding people on. That's what I want to just really nail and always talk about is I'm always going to talk about Jerry West and how good of an actual basketball player he was. That's something that people just don't talk about enough, is how great of an actual basketball player he was. And for the next hour or however long I do this video or do this live, we are going to be talking a lot about how great of an actual basketball player he was. Because that's something that he didn't like talking about, because he had shame in the fact that he only won 1 ring. Some people would die to get 1 ring. You know what I'm saying? And Jerry West, the way he speaks or spoke, I hate speaking like that. The way he spoke about his losses, they make any person that hates losing relate. And that's what really bothers me when Laker fans try to downplay him for only having 1 ring. Because when you compare it to Magic and Kobe Bryant, they have 5 rings each for the franchise. It's hard to compare, but you got to understand they're playing in an era with no free agency, only trades, and they don't have an elite center, and they're going up against Bill Russell every single time. Jerry West, a lot of those series is averaging 30 points a game on decent efficiency, and people don't care. If this was now, people would be making a whole boatload of excuses. But people say, oh, he only won 1 ring. He's 1 and 8 in the finals? Let's see, 62 he lost, 63 to the Celtics twice. Should have lost both times. 65. No. Yeah, 65. That's when Elgin Baylor got injured. And Jerry West. By the way, in 1965, Jerry West did something that no one ever talks about in the history of basketball. He averaged 46 points a game in the conference final. At that time, it was called the division final, but he averaged 45 points a game in a series against the Bullets, who had Gus Johnson, Walt Bellamy, Don Ohl, and Bailey Howell, all 4 star caliber players. And without Elgin Baylor, he averaged 46 points. And they won the series and got to the finals. And people don't say a word. That's still to this day. If you're wondering who has the highest PPG in a playoff series ever, to this day, it's still that 46 points a game with no threes. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask him. I'm so sad I'll never get to ask him that. Is how the did you do that? Like, did they double team you at any point? Like, double teams are legal. Like, what was going on there? Like, how did you score 46 points a game against a good team? It's not like he was playing scrubs. But see, you have Twitter, or these people, young people tell that don't know those players. They'll have you tell it that he was playing scrubs. I just can't believe that. 46 points a game. His dribble pull-up was another level. And by the way, for people who want to see Jerry West footage, what are you talking about? Like, asking me. I have a whole playlist only exclusive to my subscribers. You have to be subscribed to me. You have to actually be sent the link by me. Every single game that Jerry West played in the 60s, any ounce of footage that exists, I have. Okay, so please contact me in the DMs, Twitter, Instagram. If you really want to see this, I have every ounce of footage that has existed on him in the 60s. I went and tracked it for 4 years. He is one of the most undersold basketball players in the history of the game. And he's the logo. Don't look at the paper. You got to watch the games. His dribble pull-up, especially going to his right, might be the greatest I've ever seen. That's not an exaggeration. I've said that before today hundreds and millions of times. It's the likes of Kobe, the likes of Jordan. He's got a much faster release than Kobe and Jordan, though. He's got like the quick release of a Steph with the elevation of a Kobe. I'm not going to say the elevation of Jordan on those jump shot, because I don't think anybody in the history of basketball elevates as high as Jordan on his jump shot. But Jerry West, if you look at his elevation, we're going to probably pull it up in this live. I'll pull it up. It's otherworldly. And it's a disservice that they didn't count steals, because he might be the most all time. Because there's been games that you see the newspaper, he had 10 steals in playoff games. But we don't know this because they didn't track steals back then in the early 70s and 60s. Jerry West, I'm telling you, one of the great players in the history of basketball, the best player probably to never win MVP. He still got a ring and people act like he didn't win. One of the best defensive guards ever. Plays the passing lanes like few I've ever seen with the footage. Don't need the stats. There ain't no stats that exist. This is with the footage. Legend, Mr. Clutch. How can you be Mr. Clutch with only one ring, they say? Well, think of how many games we don't have. You know, in totality, there's less than 20 full games of Jerry West's career. There may be less than 15. In his whole career, only 15 exist. Maybe less than 15 exist. Definitely less than 15 now that I'm thinking about it, because he retired in 1974. I'm not finding like 8 more full games the next 2 seasons of basketball. So nobody knows. Nobody can see all these shots that he made back in the day. But if you read newspapers, you see he made plenty. So I'm now going to bring in people. Anybody that wants to speak, request the link in the chat. I've got 85 people in here. I recommend you guys come to YouTube, because that's where I can see your chat. You can have a dialogue with people. Twitter never comments. So 68 people in Twitter. Come make your way to YouTube. I tweeted the link out on my Twitter, so go to it. This is an emergency live, 9:33 in the morning. I'm not even up sometimes at this time, but on a work day I am. Today I do not have work. So yeah, I was going to go immediately. This is an LA icon, a basketball icon. And you know, for so many, I mean, let's be real, man. For me, the third best Laker of all time after Magic and Kobe. You know, and the Lakers have had so many great ones, but Jerry West, to me, top 3 Laker of all time, and probably a top 20 basketball player of all time, and maybe a top 10 basketball figure of all time. One of the people I always say, my Mount Rushmore of listening to talk the game. Jerry West, Kobe Bryant. I don't remember who else is on my Mount Rushmore. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I'm listening to speak, talk the game. Probably Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But those 3 come to mind. I like LeBron a lot too in that department. But anyway, now I'm going to bring in my first person that wanted to come speak today. He's a Celtics fan, but he is a big time fan of the game, studies the history of the game, and one of the people I talk history with. He has his own YouTube channel, which has even more subscribers than yours truly. It's just JP, Justin Patton, new Patton on my wrist. What do you got to say today, man, about the great Jerry West?
It's a sad moment. I was still kind of tearing up and stuff, just watching some highlights and just listening to him speak about basketball, just listening to him. You feel like a kid in the candy store, just listening to him, just the knowledge of the game that he has and everything. As a player, he was one of my favorites growing up. I was a big Larry Bird fan, and he was kind of like, behind Michael Jordan that I just like watch and see what he does as a player. He was a fantastic player, like you said, fantastic on offense, fantastic on defense. The one thing that a lot of people don't really realize, he was great off the ball. Like, whenever I play basketball, I'll go listen to some tapes, and Jerry West was teaching like about how to move off the ball and how to keep cutting and everything. He's like one of the best at it. Like you said, that jump shot was just so beautiful. Everybody remembers the game where you hit that half-court shot in the NBA Finals and the people just went nuts and stuff. And that Mr. Clutch Award, that I'm glad they named it after Jerry West, and it's going to mean a lot more now after the news that we heard today. Just a fantastic player, brilliant basketball mind. The NBA will sorely miss him, and I just can't wait to see what the NBA does tonight and what they're going to do next season, in honor of him. I hope they can do something similar what they did with Bill Russell, because he was just that much of an influence in the game. So rest in peace to Jerry West, just a great basketball player, just a tremendous loss.
Yeah, man. Everybody that I talked to that has met Jerry West said he was always willing to talk to people, and it's crazy. I had that video where Jerry spoke in front of Clipper fans. It was about a year ago, I'd say. And he did say he loved meeting people. And it's just interesting because, I don't know, Jerry West, when he played, he seemed like a nice guy, but he definitely seemed like he was, I don't know, kind of like to himself and stuff like that, and in a dark place. He always spoke like he was in like kind of a dark place, but he seemed to get a lot of joy. And I think being around the game, like I know he talks about like losing and stuff and how that hurt him, but I think just being around the game of basketball was something that he just loved. Like the fact that till his dying breath, he was still part of an organization, and then my organization, like that is so weird. Like seeing, that, I mean, I always knew, dude, that he would die working with still when it happened, he would still be working for a team. Like he's always trying to me, he was always trying to win and make up for what he felt like he never felt fulfilled in basketball. I don't know. The way he spoke was someone that felt like after all the rings he got as an exec, he just feels like he had to get more, but such a competitive person, man. I want to look up my notes, some of the notes I took about Jerry over the last couple of years, but yeah, man, keep going. And by the way, for anybody else that wants to come share their thoughts on the great Jerry West, especially, if you're a fan of the Lakers, we'd love to hear you as well. You can come in on YouTube. YouTube is the place to be. The link is posted all over my Twitter. I know there's a lot of people on Twitter right now watching, but I would suggest you come to YouTube, come support the chat. Super chats are turned on. Let's read some comments. Jason Battle, shout out Jason Battle, my Warriors fan. I know Warriors fans also love Jerry West for stuff he did for their organization. Hollow says, not many of the 60s greats left, man. We got to take care of our greats. Absolutely. Yeah, man, the 60s and the 70s players, that's why that Plummer stuff, it really irks me, because we got to stop disrespecting these players. I understand that they, some people, first of all, I would like to see that if Jerry West, worked a part-time job, because I've never heard of Jerry West working a part-time job because he had to. Jerry West is a highly paid player. but it's a lot of these guys towards the end of the bench that I know had to do that. And people just, I don't know, they just discredit the basketball talent that these guys had because the world was different. And Jerry West was, even the play, it's more not even just about Jerry West. I think people don't deny that Jerry West is special, but it's those other players he played against that they don't give him credit, so then they don't think he's great.
Yeah, I agree 100%. He was just he was a competitor, man. Just watching the documentaries, just remembering just how much he just really hated to lose, like you said, and just trying to, like, he won Finals MVP and he lost the finals. That's just how great he was.
And he hated that.
He hated it. Yeah, exactly. He hated publicity too, as well. Like, he said that, like, he don't really like to be in the spotlight. He never really cared. I made a short earlier. It's on my YouTube page and on my TikTok page too as well. It's just JP. When they was talking about him being the logo and stuff, he said it was all about marketing, and it came to like 5 players. Nobody knew who they were. That was going to be like a logo, and that was created in 1969. He ended up being the logo, and he said, like, what he wants people to remember about him is that, that people really cared about him, and people that he wants to be loved. That's all he cared about, nothing else. And I just thought that was just like a beautiful type of quote he said of him to be remembered by, because he was well loved, except for, with the Lakers and stuff, but everywhere else he was just so beloved and loved. And a lot of people, just looking at the tweets and just looking at, like, I seen Dan Patrick just so emotional because Jerry West meant so much to him, and he was just so beloved as a player, as a executive, as a human being. And like you said, you wanted to meet him. I wanted to meet him. I had a bunch of questions to ask myself to him, but fortunately we won't be able to do that. But at the same time, I would love to see him and Kobe, catching up right there, along with Elgin and Wilt Chamberlain, Dr. Jerry Buss, all his teammates up there. So rest in peace to a legend.
Oh, man. You said, how do people come up, DL2? I can send the link here for you guys in the YouTube chat. Oh, man. Yeah, that meeting part, that really hurts, dude, because I was always imagining I would be able to get him on Dime Dropper one day. That was always my vision. He was one of my bucket list gets. So that's always going to sting, man. I can't believe it. Just so abrupt, because he's still working in the league. You know what I mean? You just don't see it coming. But I did make that tweet that about a year ago, I noticed that he had just looked a little different. Like, he looked a lot more frail. And it's just sad, man. I wanted to. So, for people that don't know, this is also part of why I think Jerry West is so special. Is like, he got drafted in 1960, and that was the year the Lakers moved to LA. So he's literally like embedded in the fabric of when the Lakers began to be the Los Angeles Lakers and started playing at the Sports Arena. And that's just special, man. And like, you look at his rookie season, let's pull up some numbers for the people, man. Pull up some numbers for the people. Let's see. I'm gonna share my screen with you guys. Can you guys see? No? Oh, no, you can't see nothing on it. Okay. Now can you guys see?
Yeah, I can see it now. There we go.
Rookie season. Well, I only averaged 18 that season. Eight, I say only, but like 18, 8 and 4. Then look at the difference between his second season. So in his first season, looking at my notes, they beat the Pistons 3-2 in the first round. That Pistons team, I think at that point they had, let's take a look at who was on that team. I think Don Olin, Bailey Howell. People don't know about Bailey Howell like that. Do you know about Bailey Howell, Justin?
I know a little bit of him, but he was, I heard he was always like a great player, and someone that gets really underappreciated at that era.
Yeah, let's see. their leading scorers are Bailey. Yeah, Bailey Howell is the leading scorer, 24 points a game. Jesus Christ, 24 and 14. See, that's what I'm saying. People don't know about Bailey Howell. Don Old, 13 points a game. Gene Shue, he ended up being the coach of the Baltimore Bullets with like Earl Monroe and Wes Unseld in them.
Yep.
23, 4 and 7. So Lakers beat them. I'm guessing they should. When you have Elgin Bailey, you should probably beat that team. And then Western Final, losing in 7 games to the Hawks, Bob Pettit. Can you guys see my screen still? All this stuff?
Yes.
They lost in 7 games to the Hawks. Look at Bob Pettit, 29 and 18. Bob Pettit is one of those that's super underrated. He's still alive. People need to realize Bob Pettit is still alive.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, Jerry West averaged 25 and 9 in that series on 51% shooting on the hard rim with no 3-point line. Like, that's when efficiency was bad. They used to just come up and chuck back then.
Mm-hmm.
People's efficiency was not like that. And he had shot 51%. So that was probably overachieving, though. No, I would think the St. Louis Hawks are #1 seed. They made it to the finals the last couple seasons.
Yeah. But that just shows you also that like that Laker team was coming. Yeah, the Hawks were a really good team. They have to go through the Hawks and stuff with Bob Pettit and all them to go against the Celtics. But it also shows you that Laker team was coming because before Jerry West arrived, they were just not really a good team and stuff. They wasn't really like a marketable type of team because when they started becoming really good and stuff, they were still kind of underappreciated because you have the Los Angeles Dodgers, who was like a really popular baseball team, and they had to really, fight the marketing. They had to fight the promotion to get like fans into the seats. And when they started becoming good, fans started coming in and watching them, and they were just an incredible basketball team, just leading by Elgin and Jerry West.
Absolutely. We'll keep talking about them, but we got someone else that wants to come speak. Jackson, is this the Jackson Madisick in the chat?
It is.
Wow. What's going on, man? Welcome to the show.
Appreciate it.
You're a Laker fan, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, you got any thoughts about Jerry?
Well, first, I just want to say that when it comes to the antiquity aspect of the game, pre-'80s, I'm not the most knowledgeable, but like I know the surface level stuff. But I woke up around 8 o'clock, just opened Instagram, and then I saw that, and I was just like, man, we just lost Bill Russell last year. Now we're losing Jerry. It's crazy, but I just looking at his numbers for his career. I mean, the guy was an all-around player. There was really nothing he couldn't do, especially for a guard. Being able to average 27, 7, and 6 for 13 years. Elite defense. I mean, he was a two-way monster. He's the logo for the reason. He really helped expand the game of basketball at the time. In the playoffs, being able to average the numbers that he did, it's like the NBA took a big loss today, and it's hard. It's difficult.
Yeah, man. Wait, what's that? I think it's like a mic that's like, what's it called? It's like banging.
Oh, my bad. I'll try not to touch it. Sometimes when I do that, it makes noise.
Oh, good. But, man, yeah, that was well said. Yeah, dude, very tough, man. Very tough. I mean, it's interesting. I would always zoom in when I was filming my vlogs, and I got my new camera, and he was across the court. I would always, like, zoom in, and there's a logo right there sitting there. But, yeah, dude, I want to pull up maybe some highlights. There's the NBA post trash highlights of Jerry West, but that Wilt Chamberlain archive channel is so great for 60s stuff. That guy's an absolute legend. I guarantee you he'll end up posting a video about Jerry West. But that guy's an absolute legend. If you guys aren't subscribed to him, you definitely should. Oh, here we go. This is the real Jerry West highlight. All right, I'm gonna share it with people. Shout out to everybody, by the way, in the live. 112 people on Twitter, 17 on YouTube. Come join us here on YouTube. You can be part of the chat. Super chats are turned on if you want to drop $1 or dime and support the show. And the link is posted in the YouTube if you want to come speak about Jerry West. Again, we encourage all fans to, especially if you're a Laker fan or even a Clipper fan, this, The fact that he did pass away as a member of the Clippers organization is quite insane, and we're just blessed to have him have a hand in our organization, be around our organization, and make us better, because that's what he did, is made every organization he was a part of better, and a true lover of the game of basketball and competing. That's what I love. So here we go. I'm gonna put the
A wolf amongst dogs.
yeah, exactly.
That was a good quote.
Yeah, we gotta watch some of those. The JJ Redick roasting the wolf. That's it's all great. Absolute legend. All right. Here we go. Can everybody see greatness? All right.
Yeah. Oh.
He was the best I'd ever seen at that position.
Wait, can people hear as well?
I can hear on my end, so
Okay, cool. I'm gonna mute myself.
alrighty.
Lakers used the number 2 pick in the 1960 NBA draft to select rangy West Virginian guard Jerry West, a 2-time All-American and an Olympic gold medalist. West arrived in LA with a fierce determination to establish a winning tradition in Los Angeles.
Dude, his stop on a dime is crazy. Like he's on a dime.
The 2 dribble pull-ups.
No jump stop. No, yeah, exactly. 1 or 2 dribble.
When he came in, you could see that, just right off that he was going to be a terrific player. He was about 6'3", with long arms and high shoulders. He could go to his right, take one
And all
hard
contested.
dribble and use that dribble to kind of bounce up and shoot his jump shot.
This is the Mar Vista Playground in West Los Angeles, California. Working out with the youngsters is Jerry West, Los Angeles Lakers red-hot sharpshooter from West Virginia. Hi, Jerry. How are you? That's Jerry West. This fella can shoot a little bit. You don't even have time to get up and try to block the shot.
Can I just say most of these are like all contested too?
Deep 20-footers.
That's insane. Everything. Dude, this is such a great video. Shout out Will Chamberlain Archive. You are an absolute legend.
Yes.
That's how good.
Not the DHOs.
He was so
Jerry West with 3 seconds left. And now, top of the world right on his skinny shoulders. And the kids of West Virginia make the first. 3 seconds remaining. Boston might call a timeout here if West makes this one. He gets it home. All tied up. 1:15. Timeout. Boston. Here's West. And Jones fouls out of the ball game. Sam Jones because of a Jerry West fake. A beautiful move by Jerry West. And now Sam Jones is out for good, leaving the game.
10 seconds now showing on the clock. 8 seconds left to go on the clock. 7, 6, 5. The push.
By the way, so for people that are listening to that commentary from Chick Hearn, like that's not even like lined up to these shots. That's just radio that they actually have, and they don't have the game footage to match it up. But I hope you guys are enjoying this. Like by the way, so for people that are wondering, like, why do people dribble like that? That is because that was the way that they were taught to dribble the basketball. The rules of the game were that you have to dribble with your hand over the ball. So as certain guys bended the boundaries of what was allowed, they started realizing how attractive that style could be and slowly allowed more leniency with that. But that's the unwritten rule of basketball that's not spoken about that I really want to cover as I get older and eventually have the money to make some kind of production with players, because that's what makes everybody think that players from back in the day, the further we go back, are less skilled, is the way that they handle a basketball. Because the first thing I see when I evaluate talent at every level is how good is your handle. That's just been from a point guard instinct, what I've always done as a kid. Like I can tell within 10 seconds if you played basketball before, if you start dribbling a ball. And when you see a player in the 60s and 70s, you're like, shit, the way they dribble is so elementary, but that is what was allowed. So like, this is me saying, oh, I have a better handle than Jerry West because I can dribble, because I was taught to dribble a different way. It's very ignorant. It's not what was allowed. Jerry West would be dribbling differently now, and it's not a scientific invention to have your hand on the lower third of the ball. That's just the hand placement on a basketball. So this is the way Jerry West was forced to dribble, and all things considered, I think Jerry West has a very solid handle. You got to be evaluating relative to what was allowed. Mm-hmm. So based on what was allowed, I think Jerry has a very solid handle. He gets to his spots. People think he can't go left. That's a load of BS. He can get to his left, but most players won't put the ball on the floor for a lot of dribbles with their left hand, because when the guy's right on your hip and you can only put it hand over the ball, it's much easier to poke it away, and it's much harder to control. If you watch any player now go hard left, they're always putting a little bit of their hand under the ball. Always. I do it too. So like, it's just natural instinct. So, and what we've been taught is okay. Jerry West gets to his spots all the time, and I've rarely seen him lose the ball. So yeah, to me, that's what a handle is. Like how much of what's your ball protection? You know what I'm saying? Like how secure is the ball in your hands? And he does a good job of turning his back when people, or stopping his dribble. Worst case, if he's under pressure. So I don't really see him lose the ball, but let's continue. Oh, this is a shot.
2 seconds. 1 second. West throws it up.
Only worth 2 points.
This is game 3 of the 1970 finals, which is to me one of the most iconic finals ever, against the Knicks. If obviously they didn't have 3-pointers, so if that were a 3, that would have won the game. They go to overtime and lose. Even after, I don't understand how you
chronic back pain, man.
I don't understand how you make a shot like that in that kind of arena, in that kind of setting, and you don't, like, the team doesn't ride the momentum home. Like, that's crazy to me. Talk about resilient win on the road. But what's funny is Wilt Chamberlain, like in classic Wilt fashion, rest in peace to another legend. Wow, man, all 3 of those guys are gone now, Wilt, Elgin, and Jerry. That's so sad.
Yeah.
Man, but the Wilt goes, everyone always talks about that shot that Jerry West made from half court or whatever, but he's like, no one talks about that he didn't score in overtime. I was like, oh my God. Shout out to Wilt and Jerry West, man. Now we got one of my favorite basketball minds, a historian that exceeds what I can even spew to the table. Coach Millian, who we saw for the most recently, very recently, actually. It hasn't been a long time. In the let's hold on a second. We're gonna continue the video, absolutely, but I'm gonna get your thoughts in, man, as another Celtic fan, but just true lover of the game, does historic content. Whoa. Okay, I guess that's the best I can do. Yeah, it does historic content. Coach Millian, how are you doing this morning or this afternoon, I guess, for you?
I mean, not great hearing that, because I mean, you talk about so many people just being lost within the last like 2 months, and then you look at the years, losing Bill Russell before, and it's like the one thing that I like to say about Jerry West is, like, I put it in a post, it's like the dedication that he had to the game and his craft, you know, it inspired a lot of people. It inspired me to understand the game, to study it, the importance of the little things. You know, my college coach once said to me, the little things become the big things. And that's something that he got from Jerry West. And one of the things that I like preach about, you know, to my teams, and I say, you know, when you feel good, it's easy to get stuff done, you know, but when you don't feel good, that's when you start to see the true progression. And I think he had a quote somewhere similar to that, where it says, you know, you can't get much done and you can't improve unless you do it on the days where you don't want to do it. That's where you start to improve. And that's a motto that I use. And it's terrible that we lose such a great inspiration, not only just to like playing, but coaching executive wise, just understanding the game of basketball in every facet that there is. And it hurts. It hurts. Even being a Celtics fan, I always loved Jerry, and I will miss him.
Yeah, I just saying, it's so abrupt, man. Like, because he's currently.
I didn't expect it.
I know.
Out of nowhere.
Again, I can't say enough how thankful I am that he was able to be a part of my favorite team. Like, just to have Jerry West touch my favorite organization and be a part of my favorite organization and be around for a couple of years is just a blessing. And to say that he passed away a Clipper, I mean, that's crazy. But
yeah,
really crazy to say that. But I mean, and just again, I want to keep hitting on it, even though I don't want to be negative on a day like this. But again, it's very unfortunate how it turned out with him and the Lakers. No matter what he did for the Warriors, no matter what he did for the Clippers, that dude bled purple and gold like few ever have. Few ever played through so many injuries. I don't think people quite understand how many injuries this guy played through for the Lakers.
Yeah.
Just to get him a chance to win one ring. How many times he bounced back after he felt like there was no point of continuing and trying to get that championship. And because he didn't beat the Celtics, even after he won, he was so unsatisfied that he felt like he had to keep trying to win more championships for the Lakers. And this is the guy that, couldn't even stand still and watch games. They said he had to walk around the Forum hallways, as we saw in Winning Time. That was one thing they got right. They got a lot of things right. Just I want to say too, Winning Time, to have people kind of have that picture of Jerry West. I know it was a show, but a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Given the nature of this all while he was still alive. But just gonna keep reading some comments before we go back to the video.
Have the Lakers come out with
Lakers did. They just did.
They did.
I know today is supposed to be Jerry, but curious question about context of that era. How come Jerry didn't win as many titles? Well, see, I guess we'll keep going on this train. But I kind of want to finish that video first before we keep going into Jerry West's career. This says that Game 3 in 1973. Do you mean 1973 or 1970? Because I don't know anything about the Game 3 in 1973. That was the video I was showing was 1970. But you in the classroom right now, Coach? What is it, lunchtime?
No, we just finished finals, so they are all on their way home. I just finished up some grading, so now I got some free time, but I have to stay here till 2:45.
All right, beautiful. Thank you, Jerry West, for all you did for the game. One of the greatest players, one of the great scouts of talent. Also secretly built teams he doesn't get credit for. Man. Let me see. My bad. Some more comments. I was the forerunner of the win at all cost mentality. He breathed the game of basketball. All love from Dub Nation for Jerry West, the secret mastermind behind the Splash Bros and the Dynasty. One thing I really appreciate about Jerry is the way he embraced the evolution of the game. Yeah, Jerry West was one of those people that he understood the changes in the game in all eras as well as anyone. That's why I put him in my Mount Rushmore of basketball people to listen to, is if there's someone that comes to having honest conversations about the game and its history and stuff like that, Jerry West is one of the top of the list. He never left the game. He stayed in the game from 1960 on, right? Did he take any years off? Or was he always he had to have taken no, did he?
I don't think he did. I think
they probably forced him, if anything.
Right? I'm gonna check his Wikipedia right now because
I don't think he did.
So 14 years of professional basketball, 1974. Okay, didn't he spend from I don't know what he did from 1974 to 1975, but was he still working because I remember he starts doing ABC telecasts sometimes, occasionally featuring in when he's eliminated. In 1971, he calls the game, but maybe that was one time he calls a game.
I thought he did call a game for the Warriors, maybe.
The Warriors?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was on I think it was like an ABC. I'm not sure.
I mean, let's see if there's anything listed in his Wikipedia. Nah. There's nothing, but I don't know what he did. So maybe he spent 2 years away from the game. I doubt he was that away from the game. And then he was a coach for 3 years. And then, as you know, he became a scout or an executive?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, part of the assistant general manager to Bill Sharman, right? Yeah, scout. Scout for 3 years, then became general manager of the Lakers for the 1982-83 season.
He coached Kareem, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had the coaching 76 to 79.
Mm-hmm.
1979 to 2000, he was with the Lakers, still 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then spent, I guess it says, 2 years away from the game. And then so barely any years were spent away from the game.
Yeah. This was his life.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you think about someone who was so in tune and trying to bring such success to the Lakers that even when he was done, he came back and tried to build more success for the Lakers. And the majority of these championships are on Jerry West's back. Like, you talk about the 80s, you talk about the thousands, like, even though he was only there till 2000, like, trading for Kobe, getting Shaq, like that solidified, that should solidify him getting the Lakers stadium named after him. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, dude. By the way, that first season, even though he only averaged 18 points a game, he was still an all-star. Remember though, at the time that was still 8 teams. So everybody always says 8 teams, but it was really only 8 teams till 1961-62 season.
Yeah, 61-62 season. Then they added in the Chicago Stags?
Chicago Packers.
Packers. Why did I say the Stags? Packers.
Yeah, with Walt
Bellamy.
Exactly. All right, it's DL2. We got a Clipper fan in here. You might recognize him as being one of the most frequent people that we see in the vlogs, one of the main characters, as I call them in the vlogs. We have a Clipper fan perspective. DL2, man, Jerry West. And it just isn't a Los Angeles, native. What does the logo mean to you? How you feeling, my man?
Honestly, I'm just listening to you guys talk about, all the way back 60 plus something years ago, and these are all things I just wasn't really familiar with until recently. Growing up, I knew that he was the logo, and just that's something that's kind of confusing right now, just because I feel like I knew this, but I was reminded earlier, a tweet my man UB posted. Apparently, the league hasn't acknowledged that that's him in the logo officially. I think that's kind of odd.
Never gotten paid for it.
Paid for it, okay, but they have said it's him and it's based on him.
Well, no, that's true that they never formally acknowledged it. I'm pretty sure
that's weird. Probably because they didn't want to pay him or something. I really wonder what they do now.
Exactly.
That's interesting, and I wonder what Adam Silver does even today. With Finals Game 3 happening. This is a massive loss, and just as a Clipper fan, from a Clipper perspective, I knew he was a Laker. I knew he was involved in all these other teams, and when we got him, it was hype. We thought he would be like a mastermind behind the team, and he was. He went on Paul George's podcast a year ago today, actually, if I could have that correct. And one of his last words to him on the show, and probably period, was y'all gotta get this ring, like please. He was like damn near begging him to get a championship, and just it didn't work out, and that's whatever, or it hasn't worked out yet, let's say. But just him having that fire and that hunger up until his last breath was just something super motivating. And you mentioned the show earlier and just kind of his personality. Those are things I didn't know about him until recently. I always thought he was just like a happy, he had this energy of like a kid that just really wanted to win and just watch great basketball. I had the pleasure of meeting him. I went to the Intuit Dome groundbreaking when they first started during construction, the ceremony. Everybody had the mask on, but of course you recognize him because he's like 6 foot whatever, big old white dude, blue suit. And we called him out, Jerry. And he hears people calling his name, turns around, runs up to us, shakes. He didn't shake my hand because I was filming, but he shook my boy Jeff's hand and just, said peace and kept it pushing. And his energy was just really infectious. So just to find out by watching the show and just hearing more about him from like my dad, who's a lifelong Clipper fan, and just other family members who grew up in LA watching the Lakers, despite, being Clipper fans because they're from San Diego. apparently he was like a really miserable guy, and that just never really shined through for me. That wasn't my experience. So just hearing that about him being such a multifaceted individual, was really illuminating. And just he never really said these words, but when he went on Podcast B, he was just a guy that's just depressed. That's just how he is. You know, he painted himself as like an envious person. He said, I was jealous. I saw people winning. I wanted to win. You know, even when I did win, I wanted to win more. You know, teams I put together, won championships. I wanted to do that with every team I touched, and just that energy, trying to galvanize people and just do the best you can do, is something that I've taken forward from a year ago today, which is the first time I really knew about it. Watching him on Podcast P, learning more about his character on the show Winning Time, which apparently was complete BS, you know, let him tell it. But just that portrayal of him was really energizing, despite, you know, how negative they tried to make him seem. And Dime, you and I know this story, but just him, you know, even in passing, talking about players, like current players in the league. There's a story of, and I'm gonna leave, you know, some details out, but he passed one of our friends on the street and was talking about a player that, you know, had played for one of the teams that he managed. And, you know, this isn't going to give it away because he's managed or coached or directed, creative directed, whatever, a lot of different teams.
I know this story.
You know this story? John, did you tell him the story?
That was, I did tell them.
But he just, you know, he stops our friend on the street to talk for a little bit, and our friend had to go, but he's just talking to him and talking to him and talking to him and just letting it rip about this guy and his love for the game or lack thereof. And just that's something that you want to hear all the time. And I've passed all type of guys. You know, I've spoken to, you know, Corey Maggette, Baron Davis, you know, Ballmer, Ty, people on the coaching staff, and all of them are kind of like, you know, it's a job. They're just trying to, you know, get by, have a good time, enjoy living in LA. But Jerry's energy was just so much basketball. Whether he worked for a team or didn't, even if, you know, in those years where he wasn't doing anything, you mentioned there was like a 1-year stretch where he wasn't directly involved with the basketball team or something like that. It just seems like he wouldn't have been able to stop if he tried. And that's something I hope motivates my Clippers moving forward. I'm really curious to see what they do with the Intuit Dome, you know, opening, what they're going to do with like a patch on the jersey or something like that. Maybe I'm thinking too far ahead, but I'm glad he was able to be a part of our team. He brought an energy to the fan base that a lot of people, you know, just didn't even recognize or hadn't been exposed to, you know, in years of being a Clipper fan, especially with our owner. If you're watching that show on FX Hulu, you see how miserable that guy is. He didn't care about winning at all. So just that comparison, and I hope that motivates people and fans moving forward, especially Clipper fans that, you know, have been losing for so long. He's the most winningest person that's been involved with our team, or at least the most winningest energy. So hopefully that keeps people inspired moving forward.
I know one thing. My favorite Jerry West moment has to do with what he said about JJ Redick.
Yeah. I was going to say,
he
that's
said,
one of the first things.
What did he do? What did he have?
He said 12 points per game. Yeah, I don't know if he had the numbers in front of him. I like
what Baron Davis said. Baron Davis is like, yo, Jerry West, he might have had a second job or something like that, but that's what they had to do back then. He said you couldn't be Jerry West. He said you have all this time and you talking about all your training methods, and you're still JJ Redick.
That
I
was
was like,
crazy.
Wow.
That
He
was
said his name like it was a pejorative. It was just, he was disgusted. You know what I mean? It was insane.
Who cares?
He rolled his eyes. He was like, oh my God, what did this guy do? Like,
And was this Jerry?
Jerry's not a guy who will he doesn't seem like a guy who's just going to disrespect people out in public. But when someone tries to call you out and disrespect your era and what you played in, and we get back on this topic, like they had 4 games in 5 nights.
Yeah.
They had back-to-backs. Like you're traveling crazy. And then not even being in a nice hotel or bed, and the chairs that you're sitting in, like Those are cookout chairs from 1990. Like, those are not comfortable seats, and you got to play through injuries all the time. So when you talk about this stuff and not having the cryogenic chambers to get people to recover fast, you just have to go through it. Like, how do you not respect somebody like Jerry West? How do you not respect somebody from that era, knowing what they had to go through?
Yeah.
14 years in the NBA, 14 All-Star appearances. Very few can say they've played an All-Star game every single year. Obviously, missed the game some years for injury, but made the team every single year and probably deserved to make the team every single year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep rolling with the highlights. But again, the live is open. I'll probably keep it running till 11 a.m., 2 p.m. Eastern time. If you want to come say your words about Jerry West, any story, that's dope. That DL2, you actually met the guy and saying, the kind words about him as a person. Because, again, I've never really met anybody that knew him and said anything negative about him. So that's one of the most amazing things you can say about somebody. Let's keep rolling. Hold on. But yeah, the link is in the YouTube chat if you want to join the live. If you're on Twitter, you can join us on YouTube. 139 on Twitter, 16 on YouTube. Come join the YouTube. Get me to 15,000 subscribers. All things LA sports as always. And this is a terrible day for LA sports, but also all things basketball. I'll be live talking about game 3 of the finals tonight. And you can check out my recent stuff, basketball and Figueroa with Edwin, talking all things Sparks, Clippers, into a dome update, and then the Laker coaching search. But all right, let's keep on going.
West dribbles toward the backcourt to open her up. Bradley stays with her. He comes back to the corner and shoots over the top. It is good. West drives in toward the circle midway from left-hand sideline. And backs in one more step to his baseline. Takes and shoots. It is good. West. Gets close. Gets that ball in the hoop. Good bank shot by the great star. Classic game. Jerry West.
Great pump fakes, I might say.
Oh, yeah.
Great up fakes.
And you know what's crazy? There are still people today that can't shoot off of their right shoulder. He could shoot going to his left. He could shoot going to his right. He could shoot off his left shoulder.
Doing it. Huh? I said, I like how you say it as he's doing it, as we're watching him do it. Keep going.
Yeah, but he can go to the left, shoot off the left, shoot off the right, going off the left shoulder, going off the right shoulder. It's just crazy. And people like, oh, well, they're not good. Those are little things. Like that. It's crazy.
Him and Gail Goodrich is one of the greatest backcourts of all time.
Yeah, especially shooting backcourts.
Yeah.
Gail Goodrich?
Yeah, him and Gail Goodrich.
Oh, yeah.
And, dude, he and Dick, look at this. Clyde Frazier hand checking him the whole way in the All-Star game. Game winner.
Oh, that's the
that one we got on.
That's cold. That's cold.
That's when he called himself a mongoose.
At home, too. The All-Star game at home.
He's a wolf.
Dude, the MVP trophy was pretty sick back then. Look how big it was.
Yeah.
That's a real trophy.
That's the All-Star game MVP trophy.
Yeah, they don't do it like that no more, man.
Those glass trophies don't hit.
Little tiny ass centerpieces.
Oh, Bill Russell's reaching.
You've been injured in a recent.
Ah, boo.
Ass.
Dude, this guy made such a great video.
Yes, he did. That's just a beautiful form.
What's underrated is it doesn't get shown enough because they show a lot of jump shots. They show some defense, but it's underrated is his passing.
Yes.
He was actually, at times, he was playing a lot of point guard. So they don't show that enough.
Turbo. What's up, Turbo?
Yes, sir.
How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. Peace to everybody. Have good afternoon. I know it's whatever, if y'all in the mornings, afternoons, good afternoon or morning to everyone on the panel.
I'll pause it for 1 second. I want to let you give your say on Jerry West Turbo. Man, how do I do this with so many people in here? I've never had this many people in here.
You better figure it out, Don.
There you go.
All right, everybody's here now. Okay, but who's this guy at the top? Is anyone there? That top square?
Who?
No, I don't see anyone on the top. It's just plain the way it's laid out.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Turbo.
Man, what a sad day for basketball fans, the NBA. Like I said, and I said this a while back. Jerry West is one of the best to ever do it. As far as transitioning as a player, as an executive, because you see a lot of great players that transfer into the office and coaching, and they don't do a pretty good job at it. But Jerry was one of the best, and probably one of the best talent scouts ever. When it came to watching players, he was to me he was one of the best. I mean, my favorite players as far as the Lakers was Eddie Jones and Nick Van Exel.
Yeah. And
then what's so funny? I hate it's funny that when he was drafted late, and somebody told me, I forgot who told me, but I was like, and they were saying, why he got to the Lakers, right? And I was like, because of the Bob Huggins connection. I didn't know that Bob Huggins was a West Virginia alum.
Oops.
Yeah, I didn't know he was an alum, and I was like, now I can see the connection on how he gave Nick Van Exel a shot. Whether that's true or not, or whatever, but I was like, wow, like for him to get him in the late first round, that was a steal. And then drafted Eddie Jones at 10. That was just, and they took off from there. I don't think that Lakers team before Shaq and Kobe get enough credit, in my opinion. But to me, his best job, what he did turning that Memphis Grizzlies franchise around, was one of his best work ever.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It was one of his best work ever. Because they never got to the playoffs, and they never won a first round series.
Yeah, did they win a first round series with him or after him?
I think he was gone after that. I think he was gone after that.
He got the wheels in motion though with those Gasol.
But he was the architect that built it.
All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah. Sorry.
Nah, don't apologize. All right, ready we go.
This gives me a chance to get over here and work out sometimes when I feel like needing, and it's very convenient.
Woo.
Jerry, what's your opinion of the Coach Bill Shaw?
The baby hook.
He is a stickler for conditioning. So we've had about 4 nightly workouts so far, and I'm kind of sore right now.
He can dunk.
Definitely can dunk.
Hey, get up, big fella.
Gotta get up like that, because back then it wasn't like considered a cool thing to do. It hadn't gotten cool yet. So Doc.
Last year, Jerry had the greatest NBA season the Little Matt has ever had. Second in league scoring. 5th in free throw percentage. Fourth in assists. And 4th in field goal percentage. And certainly through the Baltimore and Boston series, he was fantastic. When he averaged over 43 points for the entire 11 ball games of both series.
A remarkable feat of one man becoming a one-man gang. He was at his best. He was a player possessed.
You got him to his spot. He didn't look. I mean, it's up and in. And he went up like a shot. And you get up and out feet. And you're in a room together. He said to me, he says, I feel so in sync. I don't feel I'm ever going to miss a shot.
I want to say that Jerry West was absolutely fantastic. That was one of the greatest exhibitions I ever
That little
saw.
in and out change of pace going to his right is like lethal.
His ability to just change his speed was way ahead of his time.
Jerry has out-rebounded every man in the league his own size every year.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Oh, an ankle breaker?
His first step is not life and death. Then he just rises and pulls.
It's actually crazy, like how similar people play today. He played like that 6 years ago.
Literally.
In spite of all the rules that held him back.
Exactly. His shooting mechanics, pull up. Pull up is advanced.
His finishing around the rim.
Led to moments of absolute joy or periods of despair that approach self-torture, depending on the game's outcome. The word excuse was
Imagine if he was allowed to do a Euro step, it would have been over.
If he didn't come through and make the perfect play when it was needed, time after time after time, he would be so upset with himself that he could hardly stand it.
Once he hit the court, he was deadly serious about the job at hand. In a big ball game, he would get so upset just before tip-off, and he had to go back to the dressing room where he would regurgitate.
Happy Hairston to Jerry West with a minute and 20. Jerry starts to drive. Foul is called on Jamar. Puts the leg out in 20. That's 4 personal fouls on Kareem, and Jerry West will go to the line with a minute and 21 seconds.
This is sick footage, man.
That's crazy.
Support, and we're going to do our best to bring the championship here this year.
It's insane to think about the footage that we still haven't seen.
Braden
I know, right?
Amazed me.
Like, imagine
He's so
these guys mic'd up. You know what I mean?
Mic'd up.
Yeah,
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Oh God, things they might have said.
Defense.
Oh,
And
man,
he was
has
very underrated as a defender. I don't
Big
think
time.
he gets
Elite.
enough credit.
What was it, 10
great
times?
hands, great in the passing lanes, guards one-on-one well.
Wasn't he 10 time all defensive?
Jeez, were
Yeah.
they? I don't know if whether he.
I don't know if they
weren't 10 all
they
defensive.
had it.
Yeah, they weren't 10 all defensive teams to get. A couple times though, I think.
Listen.
5.
Yeah, all 5 years, I think, or almost like 5. Oh,
14
this is a
All-Stars,
game
12
winner.
All-NBA.
That's a game winner.
Yeah.
Game 3 of the finals,
Steal?
1962. Yeah. 19. I think this is game 3 of the finals, 1962. He steals the ball and makes it at the buzzer. See, like he's walking off the court.
That was like MJ in 98 right there.
Are there people on the court during play? Was I tripping on that last one?
They stormed the court after the game. Ooh,
Yeah, after the game. Yeah.
Looked like he was still playing. That's a trip.
great
So the
hands,
buzzer
man.
and a little bit after.
He averaged like what, 2.6 steals for his career a
There's
game?
no-
That's
there's no-
crazy.
I don't think they calculated steals.
So for when they started, let me
Say
see.
it's it's
Not the
it's
first 12
overrated.
years of his career.
Wow.
It
Oh,
robbed
no,
him.
yeah.
He could be the all-time leader in steals. He could easily be the all-time leader in
I
steals.
forgot
probably.
that.
81.
Why didn't they do that,
81
man?
steals.
Can you imagine if they had 3-point shooting? He'll probably would have been finished top 2 scorer.
30,000 points.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, he would have been in the
13
top,
years?
top 5.
Crazy.
Well, I don't know. I mean, yeah. But how many more points do you end up getting? I wonder how many percentage of a point is like an extra point made by threes in guys' careers. He wouldn't have shot. Depends when he would have played, because he wouldn't have shot a ton of threes if it was like if he played in the early '80s. You know what I mean? Because nobody was shooting a ton of threes.
No.
Yeah. I mean, 5 was like insane.
Terrific defensive player.
But the way he can shoot, he probably would have been the one that would have been taking it to a whole nother level.
Steal balls. If you were playing against Jerry West, before you threw a pass, you had to stop and think, where is Jerry? Can I throw this pass?
By his movement, he made every other player move the way he wanted to.
Had him in a
Oh,
straight
wow.
jacket.
All-time steals leader is John Stockton, according to.
Yeah.
Oh wow. And Chris Paul's top 3.
That's hounding defense.
Wow.
There's this guy Lou Hudson that plays for the Hawks.
Oh yeah.
I played for the Hawks. You guys know. Yeah, he had some great seasons, and he ended up getting shut down in the playoffs by Jerry West some years. They said in articles. And you can look at his PPG; it completely falls off a cliff. Those Hawks teams had really good. Hey,
ooh, give me that.
You got up.
Those Hawks teams had really good teams, but they just couldn't beat you guys.
I thought he was about to pin it right there. That would have been crazy.
Very underrated.
Yeah, I think he's top 15 all time, easily.
He's in the conversation.
Oh,
I'd put him like 15, 14, personally.
The team that can play nearly the way that they want to play is going to be the winner of this series. What about your team morale? Well, I think if you're in Columbia tonight, it's pretty good. That's right.
It's wild seeing like a really young, fit Jerry West. for someone like me, like
Imagine him and Will if they played in their primes together.
yeah, definitely wouldn't have been all those Celtics rings. And they would have still won some, but not all of them.
Oh, sure.
Oh,
Those entry passes. Ooh.
the crazy thing is he ended up being one of the league leading assist guys towards the end of his career.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's wow.
And as good as he was a scorer, wasn't Gail Goodrich led the team in scoring?
That year, I believe so.
Mm-hmm.
Gale was nice.
That's crazy.
Was that Jamal Wilkes?
Yeah,
no. Wilkes was in college.
Yeah, Wilkes was like 70.
Oh, you're talking about 52?
Yeah.
Tommy Hawkins.
Okay. Oh, dang.
No, I think that's Happy Hairston.
Man.
That was not a pass. Come on.
Say, get my rebound.
Shouldn't have been in his highlight. Oh my gosh. Oh wow. There's Gail Goodrich.
That's a pure stroke too.
Yeah.
That he felt undue pressure.
Hey, so somebody asked, does Jerry West have an NBA trophy named after him? It's
Does
the Western Conference Finals trophy, right?
No, Magic.
MVP.
That's Magic.
No.
Does he have a
They
trophy
might name
named after him? I don't
They
know.
might name an award after him.
The clutch, probably.
Who'd they call the Clutch Player of the Year? They name it after?
Oh, the Clutch Player of the Year award is.
Oh, it's named after Jerry West. Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
I feel like he needs more though, personally.
Yeah, they got to switch that up.
Maybe
Maybe Finals MVP trophy? Is that
No,
named
that's
after a
Bill
pro
Russell.
writer?
Bill
I would
Russell.
Bill Russell,
definitely-
gotcha.
Bill Russell deserves it because he should have had a bunch that he didn't get.
That's
What's
Bill.
the Eastern Conference MVP? That's
Larry.
Larry Bird.
Larry.
Okay.
This is Larry Bird.
Magic, Larry, Jerry, cool.
maybe the
Executive of the year. Yeah.
Who is it? The executive? Is it named after?
Red.
Who?
I don't know.
Really? You said Red?
Red Auerbach?
Is it
Arbok?
named after
Yeah.
Red?
I don't know.
After making first team All-NBA for the 10th time in 13 seasons, West played in only 31
Doesn't look like it's named
games in
after
1974. He reached a decision in
anybody.
training camp in October.
Saturday morning, I get a call, and Jerry calls me and says, Pete, I'm going to retire.
Would they change the O'Brien to the West? I don't know.
Wow, that was a great video.
Yeah, facts.
Red Auerbach is coach of the year.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, exec of the year, I don't think has a namesake
That would
right
be
now.
Jerry right there.
They should name it Jerry West if they don't have a name for it. Period.
It should.
Dude, look at this. Look at this. T-Pain. All right, hold on. Look at this. 1970 Game 4. That forget who released it. It's 70s fan. Shout out to 70s fan. Great guy. So this is the game after that half court shot that he made. And look at how clean the footage is. Like, you can really see the speed and like his pull up and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh,
that's some nice quality.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, Elgin with these unorthodox finishes. Hey, Wilt is such a gigantic dude. Oh my God!
Is that David Bushel?
It is. He made him look regular right there. Hey,
dang!
I have a question. If Baylor and West would have won at least 3 championships, would they be like a top 10 duo tandem of all time?
you could argue they're a top 10 duo as is, but they didn't really win together.
Yeah,
so I don't know, but definitely they're one of the best scoring duos of all time. Period.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, that was my favorite one. Oh my God! Talk about on a dime. Low rip through, stop and pop.
Too bad he still didn't get a ring with that team because he did quit in the middle of the season. He was still part of the roster. So it's kind of sad he still didn't get a ring with them.
Yeah.
Damn.
Dime, did you see Ballmer just posted a tribute to Jerry?
No.
Yeah, he just tweeted. I'll text you a link.
Yeah, they were the first ones to announce it.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah,
Chet
the
Walker.
Clippers org.
Chet Walker died just a couple of days ago.
Yeah.
Really? Man, that's Steve's first tweet since Bill Russell passed, too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Retweet here and there, but
Damn.
I would like to hear that voice.
Jerry West had ice in his veins. Holy smoke.
Clay shouted out, MJ shouted out.
That touchdown was beautiful.
Right. Who would
Say all.
The Wilt free throws. Worse than Shaq.
Just like get them done with.
Oh my God. Jeez.
The double pump. The
That's
double pump's crazy.
Over the right shoulder.
Good.
Hey.
And think about this. These guys are playing in low top Adidas.
Converse. It's not
Converse.
Adidas.
Converse.
The Chucks.
Yeah.
And Pumas.
I know them ankles swole.
So legendary. That's, man, shout out to all the people that just upload that kind of footage, man, and especially in the high def quality. I mean, geez. 70s fan, absolute legend. Yeah, Dr. J posted, made my all-time first-team shooting guard rest in peace, knowing he paved the way for defining greatness on the hardwood, excellence in the front office, and living life his way. This is surreal, man. I can't believe this.
Yeah, it does not.
This is really surreal, bro. Oh man,
he felt immortal.
Yeah, literally. It just didn't feel like it was gonna happen this soon.
Yeah,
but he did start looking a little bit more. I remember tweeting about it, a little more frail, and looked like he had lost weight.
I hope he just like it was old age. He wasn't like sick or nothing. I just hope he in his sleep or something went away easy. Legend of the game, man.
Yeah. Damn, bro. Everyone's saying he was so nice to meet. I'm just like, God damn, I guess because I met him. Carmelo Anthony. That's always gonna sting for me, man. Like that I never got to meet him badly. I want to let him know what all I had studied, because I know he'd probably appreciate it just coming from a young person. Man,
He appreciates it now, bro. Real shit.
His passion is like not common nowadays, though.
Contagious for real.
Yeah.
Everyone, all the ex-hoopers. It's nice. Here's what I think, though. Like, I like seeing all the Laker fans give tribute to their legend, but like, dude, some of the way these guys talk, some of the way that some of these guys talked about him the last couple of years was because he was working for the Clippers was like disgraceful. I remember having arguments with people, Laker fans, about Jerry West. I've been arguing for Jerry West for years, whether it's a player or as like anything. He's one of the people I'll always defend, like damn near like Stan.
Yeah.
He could go to Boston and work with him. He'd still be a Lakers legend. It wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah, but he would just never do that. Oh my God, this is going on. I gotta show.
Robinson posted something.
The Big O.
The Big O.
Oh, they said Duncan Robinson. I was like, who gives a shit?
Jimmy Neutron.
Sheen, bro. Sheen.
He said
on the podcast.
Duncan Robinson. Who cares about what Duncan Robinson says about Jerry West? I'd rather listen to you guys talk about Jerry West. Man. What Oscar said? Oscar has social media? Damn, man, that's sad.
Probably on Twitter.
That's a trip.
Yeah, Oscar said, I do not have the words at this moment to express how I feel. Great friend, great competitor, great for the game of basketball. Will always have love in my heart for number 44.
Damn, Bomber's thing was very nice too. God damn it, dude.
Go check that out.
What Bombers say?
You sent it to me.
I didn't even read it.
Oh.
Clay said something.
I thought you was gonna read it. Oh, it's mad long. I don't know if you're gonna read this one.
I feel like I'm retweeting. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm retweeting so many people paying tribute to someone who's great at basketball who died recently. Every week.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like that.
Bill Walton, Chet Walker, Jerry West, Willis Reed, Bill Russell, Sam Jones, like Tommy Heinsohn, all these people like that have just passed away the last couple of years. It's just so sad, man. I just think we took that era of basketball with how little footage there is about it. There should have been way more documentaries, way more stuff on them. The NBA has been trying to like kind of because it wasn't a great time financially for the league. It wasn't where basketball was at its height, so they really just downplayed it so much over the years, man. Like seriously downplayed, like to the point where when I was a kid, I had no interest in anything before 1980. I had none.
Yeah.
What am I looking for here again? Oh, I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to share my screen with my boy Golden Knight. Apparently, I want to see what he did with this JJ Redick. When he grilled JJ Redick, we've referenced that so many times.
Oh,
I was so happy when he did that.
Not JJ, bro.
I was not a hater. Right. You guys see my you say?
JJ had no words after that.
JJ, just a little bit. He's a very smart kid and everything. Look, tell me what his career looked like. What did he do that determined games?
Peaked in college.
He averaged 12 points a game in the league. Somewhere along the way, numbers count. At that point in time, the players aren't what they used to be.
Getting cooked by OG.
JJ certainly wasn't going to guard the elite players. I know JJ.
He certainly wasn't going to guard the elite players.
Oh my god,
that was funny, man.
But quick question: was Jerry West the one that said, "Oh, he had a good career, not a great career," or was that Michael Jordan talking about someone else?
No. I think that was
referring to.
I think
He's
that
talking
was
about JJ. Oh my
yeah, I'm
goodness,
pretty sure he
I
said he
gotta
had
find that.
He said how many games did he decide or something like that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oscar Roberts, yeah, jeez. Because Oscar and Jerry's careers were intertwined. They came in the same season, 1960, and then they retired the same year, 1974.
Yeah.
And they played in the Olympics together too.
Yeah. There was a thing. Isaiah Thomas had a story where, like, he was on the panel with Oscar and Jerry West, and he said for Jerry West to stand up and acknowledge, he was like, I know I'm the logo and I know I get the credit and everything, but there was no other basketball player that was better than me more than Oscar Robertson. I was like, damn, I would love to have been on to listen to that panel.
Yeah. Dude, Bob Cousy, this quote is so funny. Where did it come from? I want to see where this quote came from, but NBA Central posted it. Saying Bob Cousy said, I'm 95 fucking years old with one foot in the grave and I can barely move. I know I'm in overtime, so everything in your life becomes more meaningful. One of the last things I want to be able to see is for the Celtics to hang up banner number 18.
Bob Cousy's still alive? That's crazy.
Yeah, he is, bro. He's still alive.
That's
Man,
crazy.
why isn't this thing loading? The link that they posted
respect
attached to that statement is not loading.
Oh man, I found the quote. It was Michael Jordan talking to J.R. Smith, which is pretty much the same. It's the same thing. Yeah.
A great talking to a role player.
That was funny. Yeah, he was talking trash to J.R. while they were smoking and playing golf.
That sounds all right.
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Celtics legend Bob Cousy. It's a story for the Boston Globe. I guess it was an interview for the Boston Globe. Let's see.
Picture. Oh.
Cousy said over the phone after game 2. And, damn, man. Any last words? I'm probably going to close it up soon. But I appreciate all you guys for coming in and showing love to the great Jerry West, man. It's very I don't know when it's ever gonna feel real, but this is like just so abrupt and it's just not something I don't know. Nothing I ever expected.
Mm-hmm. He's just a legend, man.
Yeah, he's a legend. I'm still numb. Just came out of nowhere, but rest in peace to the greatest executive, one of the greatest players.
Yeah, I'm gonna be making Jerry West and the 1972 Laker content this summer because that's where we're at on the Dime line. The Dime Machine series will be continuing this summer. Is right when the season ends. We have our Dime Machine film breakdown. By the way, okay. So first, I'm gonna show people before we get out of here my all my playlists in regard to this material, because if people watching, if there are people watching this right now, that means that you guys care about the history somewhat. So let's see.
Oh man, Podcast P just posted a clip too. This is a good one. Yeah, man. He said, I've often thought what I would like for people to think about me. He was a good guy and he cared. That would be it. Nothing more.
Damn.
That's pretty much what I.
So here, look, guys. These are my playlists, right? Some of them are almost all of them are accessible to people. There's Dime Machine Flashbacks, which is just like random discussions about stuff in the past. One of them was like a recent one where I just randomly was watching a game, Grizzlies game from 2013, And I wanted to make a case from what I was saying about Marc Gasol and the controversy around him winning Defensive Player of the Year over LeBron. And then after the 71 Bucks title, I made some comparisons between the 71 Bucks and the 2015 Warriors and the routes that they got to the finals with. And how no one really talks about it. And then I did a discussion on the Earl Monroe trade and the backlash that he received after the trade. That's a really good one with some with Fabian and Jason. I don't know. Was it Jason? No, it was Fabian. What I just talked about that. And then let's see what else I got historically. The Dime Machine. So the Dime Machine is just anything historic. The film breakdowns, episode 1, 69 All-Star game. I believe Jerry West was injured in that All-Star game, though, so he didn't play. Sam Jones highlight reel, the biggest highlight reel for Sam Jones on the internet. 13K. Kareem's debut film breakdown. The night the Knicks became champions. This is the worst game I've ever seen Jerry West play. So you guys want to see that? Go ahead and watch it. The worst game I've ever seen him play. Then number 4, Oscar's Bucks debut and Pistol Pete's NBA debut. Episode 5, Kareem and Oscar versus Clyde and Willis Reed, which is the champions against the team that kind of is favored to go against them. So that's the last Dime Machine film breakdown I made. And the intention of these is to be in order. So as I'm documenting the history of the game and watching these guys for make my GOAT list more accurate, you guys can also get some context as well. So number 6 will be Lakers Bucks 1972, the defending champs against the team that is, won 33 games in a row. So that's a good one. Yeah. Then I have a Gail Goodrich highlight reel I made from a game 6 with a 71 second round. Jerry Sloan, same game. And then the Bullets Knicks rivalry 2-part episode with a Bullets fan from the past that was a fan back then and a Knicks fan. They had great insight. So I'm going to be continuing those again. And then as far as the playlist I said had games, you got to request those from me because some of these are private. But I'll show you them anyway. The Evolution of Basketball, full footage in the 60s. It has 157 videos. Now, obviously, you just have to find ones that say Lakers, and they'll have Jerry West in them. But a lot of it's just archival footage, some with no sound, some are videos that are like 2 minutes or less. It's really not as much as you think. There's a lot of context in the Lakers. All the context that you can get on them, I have. It's very interesting stuff. But yeah, a lot of 1969 finals stuff. That's one of the biggest finals in NBA history. A lot of stuff from that. And then the one that I'm currently working on is, where is it? Here we go, the 70s playlist. 70s, you can have, there's a bunch of stuff here. Lou Alcindor signs NBA contract. Still have his first game on there. Wow. ABA stuff. Los Angeles Lakers. You see Lakers. Here's. Hold on. Can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't interview the Lakers after this game. Where's Jerry?
Was Connie Hawkins playing in that game?
Yes, sir. This is 1970, second round. The Lakers came back from 3-1 down to win the series. It's the second time it's ever happened.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's crazy.
This is Jerry right here.
Yeah, you got to do one on Connie Hawkins, man. He got robbed his first couple of years.
Yeah, his first couple of years of his career. I'm trying to see if there was. Is there interviews in this one?
Yeah, what you were saying, Don?
I was wondering if there's no interviews. I like those high def interviews of back in the day. They have these fools. But here we go. Yeah, New York, Milwaukee. I have a little bit of that. These are just like security camera footage type things. Here we go. Here's some. We can get some
period because we just, in being played that tough, just went away from what we were trying to do. We took the easy way out and just went the way they were forcing us to go on the floor. We started freelancing and going a lot of one-on-one.
Maybe that made the difference in the ball game. Jerry, I noticed a couple of times going to your left, you decided not to make that move and depend on the hand. Was that a conscious thing on your part?
Well, Tommy, it really was. It was hard for me to dribble any more than twice with my left hand without not losing the ball or not getting a good feel with it. The hardest problem I had, I think, was picking the ball up with my left hand for a shot. I really did not do that well at all, and say I don't think I made a shot going to my left all night.
Well, you're a bit angry when Mulaney took you out the first time.
This is in reference to him having an injury that he's playing through. So this, again, goes back to what I was saying about how many injuries he ended up playing through for this franchise. Good on
him to give you a rest. His substitution pattern has changed.
Not really, Tommy. So I never mind to come out of a basketball game. I really don't like to come out in a good streak, or I don't like to see us call timeout in a good streak. But as I say, I can use some rest as a lot of guys on our team, and I think particularly it helps you in the second half of a ball game.
Do you feel that a freer substitution pattern is a must in order to beat the Knicks?
Well, I really think that a lot of guys on our team can contribute, and I think it's more of a team effort when you have 12 guys that are able to play and able to contribute. I think everyone would like to see guys play more, and I'd say I'm no exception. And tonight we got a great contribution from our bench.
Jerry, the morale tonight has to be a lot better than it was on the previous evening when you lost to the Knicks. But you're going into New York. Are you concerned at all with the crowd and the force that New York's going to throw at you getting back into the Big Apple?
Well, Tom, I'm really not concerned about the crowd. I'm concerned more about their basketball team. So they're a great crowd, but I think it stimulates a player to play there maybe more than people would realize. I know that I enjoy playing there. The people in New York have been very good to me. And they're a very knowledgeable crowd. That's why I do like to play there.
Man, that was a pretty.
Who was the coach at that time? Bill Sherman?
No, it was Joe Mulaney. That was a great quote for New York fans. If the Knicks fans want to have a Jerry West tribute, put that quote. I like playing. It's a very knowledgeable crowd. That was a good
Shout out
one.
the Mecca.
Yeah, the Knicks fans even back then.
Oh, but Bill Sherman must have came like maybe a year later, I think.
2 years after.
2 years.
The first year Bill Sherman was the coach of the Lakers. They won.
Oh, okay.
He's no joke.
Did you know that he invented shoot arounds?
Yes.
Everybody, Sue Bird and Candace Parker said we all hate Bill Sherman for creating the shoot around. And he said and Jerry West, may he rest in peace. He said, Wiltshire, and it came to right. He said, "Do you want me to come to shoot arounds or the games?"
Yeah, that's classic. That's a classic Wilt quote.
I was like, wow.
I'm pretty sure I had another.
Wow, all those Celtics and Laker greats are in heaven. They're probably gonna be talking trash and probably playing against each other in heaven.
There we go. We got that pickup game is getting way too stacked for me.
That is true.
Yeah.
All laying out on the hardwood.
Yeah. Last one I have. You see my screen? All right.
Yep.
In the open, man, the guy wouldn't shoot in the gap to get open.
England, what?
This is
Excuse me.
Man.
With just a win. I mean, because a lot of teams playing on the very adverse. This is what these.
After losing to New York in the fifth game. Well, good luck in New York.
Thank you.
What part did pride play in tonight's victory?
Well, Tommy, no one likes to look badly. Again, I think the game we played in New York Monday night, I think everyone was embarrassed by it. We were ready to play basketball, and I think we would have won that basketball game regardless of who had played. Our team, we were just ready to play.
Do you feel that winning the championship without Willis Reed playing will take some of the glamour away from it?
Well, Tommy,
team do tonight, Jerry, to counteract New York's Fast Five?
Well, Tommy, what we did tonight, we played much better defense the first quarter. They didn't get a lot of easy shots. I really felt that decided the ball game. We did a lot of good things, offensively and defensively. And of course, when Wilt turns into the basket like that, it makes all the difference in the world.
Great, thank you. Okay, Charlie, how you doing?
Man. All right, fellas. Appreciate everybody. Thank you so much for everybody that came and listened. Horrible day, obviously. but always, got to celebrate by talking about the life of Jerry West and playing his highlights, playing some of his quotes. That was great stuff. So appreciate everybody. Give me your favorite Jerry West memory in the comments below, or favorite Jerry West story. Of course, all things LA sports, LA basketball, right here on Dime Dropper. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell. We'll be live later tonight after Game 3 of the finals. There'll definitely be some sort of tribute there. Peace out, everyone, and have a great day.
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you.